Coming to you guys from the Toyota studio here at Radio Row in New Orleans. I am Robert Mays with The Athletic. Joining us right now, it is Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing well. You know, we're getting a little bit deeper into the week, but I feel like we've really settled in. Yeah. You know, we did 4 live shows. We got one more tomorrow. Are you just here today?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. I believe so.
So I want to talk to you about last year's Chiefs game, and I want to do it for one specific reason. Full disclosure, I'm a Bears fan.
Okay.
And so watching you in that game, I did not enjoy it because you played so well that I was like, shit, he's good. This is going to be a problem. However long this is going to last, it's going to be a problem. Yeah. Going against that Steve Spagnuolo defense, what are the considerations when you're playing quarterback against that team? There's just so much disguise on the back end, the pressures they can throw at you. What is your priority list of checklist of your priority checklist when you're playing against that team specifically?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what you hit on. I mean, is the disguises they bring, the different personnel packages they have, and then obviously the pressure packages and all the exotic blitzes they have. That's a team where you going in that week, you have to watch so much tape to be able to see all these different looks and try and pick up any little tells you might get pre-snap to see if you can pick that stuff up and get it protected. So it is a headache, of a defense to go against, and it's one of those things that you might prepare all week for certain looks, and then you get to the game and they have a whole new blitz package, a whole new pressure package that they're bringing. So it's one of those things that you got to adjust on the fly. But they're a very solid defense. He's been doing it for a long time. He knows how to bring some pain for the quarterback, and we handled it really well last year. My first start ever was against the Chiefs, and we didn't handle it very well. So I got a little taste of both sides of that.
How much control do you have when it comes to checking protections and stuff? Do you have veto power? What is your role in that process in your guys' offense specifically?
Yeah, I have all the power to make adjustments, and if I see pressures, be able to try and get adjustments that's going to pick it up. So I have all that power pre-snap to, and that's where I think my game's evolved so much is, my rookie second year, I had no idea how to do some of that stuff. And I was able to see Aaron do it. I was learning so much, but it's a lot thrown at you, and you don't see kind of all these pre-snap tells that the longer you play, the more reps you get, the more you can pick up and see pre-snap. But that's, I feel like, has been a huge part of my game that's elevated.
Speaking of learning from Aaron, you're kind of a unique thrower in the way that you're very willing to throw off your back foot, and it works for you in a way that it doesn't work for almost any other quarterback in the league outside of Aaron. Is that something you kind of learned from playing with him, kind of asking him questions, or is that something you just, as you developed in the system, you kind of just figured out how to do?
That's a good question. I think I've always had a kind of unique way of playing, and kind of an ability, but definitely in my time being behind Aaron and just seeing how he practiced, seeing obviously the off-platform throws and everything he can do with his feet turned a certain way and his body facing this way. So, you see this stuff, you're with him every day, doing the same drills, same reps, and you kind of just start getting in the habit of doing some of the stuff he does, popping your feet off the ground. And, it's funny, I remember my first offseason, I went back and was training with my quarterback coach in the offseason, and he was like, man, what are you doing? Like, you've never done some of this stuff before. He's like, stop. And it's like, man, I can't help it. Like, I've been watching A-Rod and just doing all this stuff, watching him every day, and you kind of just build some of those habits.
The conversation that Aaron was having with Matt when they were working together early on, it was cool kind of watching them come to a compromise point. Like, I want to incorporate some of the things I want to do. Matt wanted to bring some of the structure with him that he was used to. When you're having discussions with Matt or other members of the coaching staff about painting outside the lines a little bit, what sort of give and take is there with the guys that you're working with?
No, there's always give and take. I think that's the great part about our coaching staff is they're really very willing to accept ideas you have, play concepts you might have. If you see some on film, you bring some. They're like, all right, let's put it in, let's try it out. So that's pretty much the cool part. And obviously, I saw that with Aaron and Matt and his relationship. But they transformed that offense so much, and with, like you said, stuff Matt brought and stuff Aaron liked of his long career. And I think the longer you play, the more reps you get, the more comfort you get, understand what concepts you like, what concepts you like versus certain coverages, and it's easier to talk to the coaches and find ways to implement the stuff that you feel really comfortable with. But I give Matt a lot of credit. He makes sure the quarterback is as comfortable as possible out there on the field.
To that point, how important would you say it is the fact that you've been able to work with exclusively Matt for your entire career? Like, a lot of young quarterbacks don't really get that chance. Mm-hmm. They're two or three different coordinators. Maybe the head coach is gone, all that stuff. How fortunate do you feel that you've been able to been and how much have you been able to put into your game because you know that it's going to be the same system next season and next season and next season?
Yeah, no, that is a big blessing that, like you said, not everybody gets. And I've been fortunate to be with Matt this whole time, same system. And, it's just, it adds an extra layer to the offseason. You're trying to learn a new offense, new terminology, and it just, you're not able to build that same kind of comfort as you might being in a system for 3, 4, or 5 years. So that's definitely a plus. I remember in my last season at Utah State, we kind of had a new coordinator, and that was kind of my first real taste of a transition, I feel like, when I was the guy playing. So it is difficult. There's a lot of changes, a lot of new things that are thrown at you of trying to learn a new system. But, I've been fortunate to stay in the same system.
The way that you guys have built your personnel on offense, I think there's been a patience to it and a thoughtfulness to it. I remember talking to Brian 2 off seasons ago about how he built the receiver room. He's like, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I want to give these guys every chance to develop as a group, give them opportunities. And I feel like that's good in principle. And in practice this year, you guys kind of bumped up against your ceiling a little bit. And Josh Jacobs came out this week and said, we really need to go get like a number 1 true alpha within this offense. What do you think about that viewpoint on what you guys need to do at receiver and just how you could potentially take it from where you are now to where you want to go?
Yeah, I think you made great points. Like you said, just the Packers organization is definitely a developmental organization. They like drafting guys and developing their game. And, you can see that right now with a lot of the young, guys we have in the receiver room. And, this is the fun part is we're kind of all developing and going about this thing and this journey together and developing and figuring out ways to get better together. But, like you said, I think anytime you can add good players to an already good offense, it's going to make your team better. I've always said I'm very confident in the guys we have and the talent we have. We have a very deep receiver room, and those guys all do different things very well. But like I said, it's been fun to develop with these guys. And like you said, we hit some hiccups this year. It wasn't as consistent as we would have liked. And there's so many lessons we learned and ways that we can go back and look at the film and be like, okay, this is an area we need to improve. The detail here, just the consistent execution. And obviously we have these spurts of explosive plays and cool. We're putting up a lot of points in games, but it just wasn't as consistent as we would like. So I think the fun part about being able to keep a group together is you can figure those things out together and build it. So we'll see. There's a lot of uncertainty that goes into it. We'll see if we do end up bringing another guy in, what the draft looks like, that whole situation. So I'm not going to get too much into it, but we'll see. We'll see.
One of the things you guys struggle with this year, just man coverage in general, teams challenging you. That Minnesota game, the latter one, sticks out to me where they kind of threw a curveball at you in the first half of that game. Mm-hmm. Why do you think you guys struggled when teams really tried to play sticky coverage against you, especially in the second half of the season?
Yeah, there's so many things that go into that. I think specifically that Minnesota game, when you play teams twice a year, you base so much off of the first game you played them and watching a lot of tape on that game. And you're putting a lot of concepts in for
stuff. They played
stuff.
like 18% man in that first game.
They switched their whole, defense up of what they did the first game. And, a lot of your game plan is based off that. So once you get into the game and see kind of what their flavor is for the day and what their how their game plan is, that's when you got to make those adjustments. And we started doing some good things later, but it was kind of too little too late, and we didn't do enough off the bat. But, yeah, that's an area that we'll have to improve on is beating man coverage. Obviously, timing, accuracy is so important when their teams are playing that sticky man coverage. So everybody's got to be at their best. But I'm sure we'll have some ways to, take advantage of it. But it all comes down to that game plan you have, and then if, teams switch it up, make those in-game adjustments.
You look at quarterbacks around the league. I'm curious, if you could steal one trait of another quarterback in the NFL, what would it be and why?
Lamar Jackson and his speed and elusiveness.
What I've learned this week, every single guy in the NFL wants to be like 20% faster.
What?
Every receiver picked Tyreek Hill. You're the first quarterback we've talked to. You went to speed immediately. Yeah. There's something there. Everybody wants to be a little bit faster.
For sure. I think, you talk about an NFL quarterback, I feel like a lot of guys, there's – everybody can do a lot of really cool things with their arm. That's what we're here for. And then I think what kind of separates guys and guys like Lamar is that speed and his ability to run the ball. And, that's a whole other aspect that defense has got to look out for. And obviously, I'm not the fastest guy, but, if I could take my game to another level and have that speed, it would,
But you're
it'd
not
be fun.
slow.
I'm not slow.
And
I'm not slow.
I'm curious about this. You don't scramble very often. Is that a conscious choice that you're trying to make, where you want to play from the pocket? Because I feel like, again, all the man teams are playing against you. You're not a bad athlete. I think you just choose to play a certain way. Is that something that maybe this offseason you consider, like, maybe I can take off 2-3 more times a game?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's always, you're always looking at ways to improve. And, like you said, I definitely consider myself a pretty good athlete and can make those plays with my legs. And, I trust my arm so much. I always want to make the plays from the pocket and dish the ball out to my playmakers. But there's always that time where you can just take it and run when stuff's covered up. And, I was dealing with so much with the injury this season.
That's
which
stuff I don't think about.
Yeah, it limited me a good amount in the early part of the season. I had my groin injury. So there was definitely things that, kind of hampered, some of the run game I would have done. But that's definitely a focus I want to improve on this season. Going into this season is being able to take those opportunities and run, pick up those big plays, continue to just scramble, make plays on the run. And, I just think it makes defenses, have to cover everybody, have to play even a little bit longer.
It's those back-breaking plays.
Yes.
They're really will-breaking plays when you can pick up that 3rd and 8 with your legs.
You got everything covered, and then you pick it up
It's
with
awful.
your legs.
That's what keeps coordinators up at night. You're here with Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL. Just tell us a little bit about the work that you've done with Toyota here over the last year.
Yeah, a lot of incredible stuff. Talk about my Toyota partnership and the just the connection we've had is through social media, and it's. Last year it really started is when Toyotathon started and people were comparing that I was playing better and conspiracy theories that I was.
It's the funniest bit in the NFL.
Yeah,
I really love it.
I'm a
Toyothon merchant.
Your fiance.
My fiance, yes.
Your fiance calling you a Toyotathon merchant on Instagram. It was one of my favorite moments of the NFL season.
She's fun. She's a personality, and she takes it and runs with all that stuff. I'm like, don't do it. And she's like, no, you got to do it. You got to have fun with it. So she's awesome. But no, I mean, it's been cool to see something come to life that really the fans started, and to be able to have this partnership now off something so little is just supposedly playing better. I mean, the numbers do back it up, but playing better during Toyotathon. But it's been awesome, and they're a great partner, and all the things that come with having a cool car and pulling up to game day in the cool car, driving, listening to music, getting your mind right for the game. So it's an easy partnership because we spend so much time in the car driving around and going from the facility to practice, getting your mind right for practice, and driving through Lambeau on game day with all the fans outside cheering you on. So it's cool. I mean, you probably wouldn't know that. You're Bears fans, so you probably.
Listen, I've spent plenty of time up there, and I will say, good luck next year. Good luck this offseason, but not too much.
Yeah, okay.
Good luck. Only to a certain point.
Yes,
I feel like that's.
yes.
If I didn't say that, you'd be
fair.
disappointed.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Yeah.
Appreciate the time, Jordan.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.